You know, in the world of language, most words are pretty straightforward. But then there are some that are hiding something. Today, we're diving into a word you use all the time in English, but in Spanish, it's leading a total double life. I'm talking a split personality, two secret identities, and a mystery that has been tripping people up for, well, for decades. But before we crack this case wide open, if you enjoy stories just like this one, do me a favor and follow the channel, Mr. Mark Ratz, and share this. It really genuinely helps this page grow, and that means I get to create even more stories for you.
So, the big question is, how can one of the most simple, basic verbs we have, the verb to be, somehow operate under two totally different names in Spanish? It's a question that honestly sounds like the setup for a great detective novel. And you know what? That's exactly how we're going to treat it.
All right, let's meet our two main suspects. On one hand, we have ser, and on the other, estar. Now, they both mean to be, but they live in completely different worlds. Think of ser as the one who handles all the permanent, unchanging stuff, the very essence of things. Estar, though, estar deals with the here and now, the temporary, the fleeting moments. So we've got two identities for one concept. Our job is to figure out which one to use and when.
Okay, so every good investigation starts with building a profile, right? So let's start with our first identity, ser. This is our stable, predictable one. If we can get a handle on its patterns, we're already one step closer to cracking this whole thing.
So Sinzier's whole MO, its method of operation, is all about permanence. It's used to describe the fundamental DNA of a person, a place, or a thing. You know, the qualities that don't just change on a whim. Think of it like this. Ser describes what something is at its very, very core.
Now, to track ser's movements, the real pros, they use a set of 5 key clues, and you can remember them with the acronym POPIN. So if you're talking about a permanent condition, an occupation, a place of origin, an identification, or a nationality, yep, you can be pretty darn sure that ser is your guy.
Let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. A building's height? Well, that's a permanent feature, right? It's not changing tomorrow. Someone's career, or where they're from, their core personality, their nationality. These are the bedrock qualities of who someone is, and that is Sol Ser's territory through and through.
Okay, time for our second suspect, estar. And let me tell you, unlike the predictable zer, estar is a total master of disguise. It's always on the move, way harder to pin down. This is the real chameleon of our case.
Estar's world is basically the complete opposite of ser's. It's all about temporary states and physical location. It's not about what something is fundamentally, but how it is right now, or where it is at this very moment.
So the first major clue that tells you you're dealing with estar? Emotion. I mean, think about it. Feelings are, by their very nature, temporary states. You might be happy right now, sad later, tired tomorrow morning. All of these fleeting conditions, that's 100% estar's turf.
And the second dead giveaway? Location. And this is a big one. It doesn't matter how permanent a location might seem. You know, a city in a country, a book on a shelf for years. If you are talking about where something is located, you are always in estar's territory. It's like a strict rule with absolutely no exceptions. This simple little rhyme is pretty much the key to tracking down estar. Seriously, if you can just lock this one phrase into your brain, you have almost everything you need to know about our most elusive suspect. How you feel and where you are. That's it. Simple.
All right, so we've got 5 rules for ser and 2 rules for estar.
Let's be real, that's a lot to juggle, especially when you're trying to have a real conversation. It can feel like you're trying to solve a puzzle with way too many pieces.
And that brings us to the question that stumps pretty much everyone. With all these different rules and conditions floating around in your head, how on earth do you make the right choice in a split second? How do you possibly keep it all straight? The answer? You don't. That's right. The real secret to solving this case isn't about memorizing more stuff, it's actually about memorizing less. And this is the master key. This is the secret that changes the entire game. As a wise professor once said, you don't need to memorize all 5 of those rules for ser. Nope, just focus on estar. Just master its 2 simple rules and the entire mystery is solved. Because anything that isn't about feelings or location, well, it's automatically ser.
So here it is, your final test. From now on, before you speak, just ask yourself 2 simple questions. Number 1, is this about a feeling or some kind of temporary condition? Number 2, is it about a location?
If the answer to both of those questions is no, then you don't even have to think any further. The culprit is always, always sir.
And just like that, the case is closed. A mystery that has baffled language learners for decades is finally solved. And not with more complexity, but with one simple, elegant little trick. The word with a secret identity has finally been unmasked. If this story moved you, or maybe made you think a little differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and make sure you follow for more stories just like this.